Hello everyone! Come back with me at Taekook Velvet, a home for you lovers of Taekook's iconic dynamics. Don't forget to prepare your snacks, because today we will discuss something really fun. Stay tuned! Have you ever imagined what happens when the lights of Studio 6B in Rockefeller Center go out? When the audience's applause, Jimmy Fallon slowly disappeared and the studio door closed tightly? For the world, that night was a huge success on the television screen. But for Taehyung and Jungkook, the night in Manhattan has just begun. New York is a city that never sleeps, but that night, this city seemed to provide a very rare private space for the two of them. We see them laughing, joking, and performing so brightly under Fallon's stage lights. However, there is one different energy when they stand side by side. Not just a co-worker, but there is a sense of security that radiates. Many wonder, after such a busy and tiring schedule, will they just go back to their respective hotel rooms and drown in their cell phones? Or was there an appointment that had been made long before they landed at JFK Airport? A promise for a short escape in the middle of the hustle and bustle of the city. The rumor about Honeymoon Manhattan did not just appear. Observant fans began to connect small dots. Why is there a long silence on social media after the event ends? Why did the atmosphere around their hotel feel so different that night? There are some kind of visual codes in small posts, a glass of drink on the edge of a window overlooking a skyscraper, or a shadow in the glass that seems to capture a familiar figure. New York for many people is a tourist destination, but for them, this could be the only place where they can become ordinary people among millions of strangers. If we dissect their body language during a podcast or interview, there are gazes that go beyond the script. The way Jungkook glances at Taehyung when he speaks, or how Taehyung always seeks approval in Jungkook's eyes. It's the kind of connection that has been built for years. So, when the narrative appeared that they spent time together down the streets of New York after midnight, many felt that it was not just a theory, but an emotional need. After giving everything for the world on stage, they need time to give that time to themselves. Imagine them walking on the High Line when it's quiet, or just sitting in a hidden jazz bar in Greenwich Village. Places where their identity as global stars is covered by thick coats and hats, but their togetherness still feels warm. New York in these months has sharp and cold air. The air that forces someone to walk closer, to share warmth. That is the point of what fans call honeymoon, not about luxury, but about the presence of each other without interruption. Why don't they share it openly? The answer is simple, because the most beautiful moment is often the one that is not recorded by the camera. Their silence after the Fallon event is actually the strongest proof that there is something they are enjoying personally. A healing after great promotional pressure. In Manhattan, they are no longer the center of the world's attention, but two people who are enjoying hot coffee under the dim street lights, talking about things that we will never hear in any podcast. Of course, the industry will say they immediately rest. Tomorrow's schedule is already waiting. But we know, young souls are always looking for a loophole for freedom. There are vague eyewitness reports about two men with very familiar postures seen on the street corner of Manhattan in the early morning. Is it true that they are? Or is it just a projection of our longing to see them happy? However, seeing Taehyung's smile that was so loose the next day, it was hard not to believe that he had just had a very memorable night. In the end, what happened in Manhattan after returning from Jimmy Fallon will remain a secret for both of them. But one thing is for sure, New York has become a silent witness to a new chapter of their journey. A chapter full of closeness, comfort, and a stronger sense of belonging. Under the Manhattan sky, on the sidelines of high-rise buildings, Taehyung and Jungkook have written their own Honeymoon story, a story that does not need confirmation, because the vibration has reached all of our hearts. Hello everyone! Come back with me at Taekook Velvet, a home for you lovers of Taekook's iconic dynamics. Don't forget to prepare your snacks, because today we will discuss something really fun. Stay tuned! Have you ever imagined what happens when the lights of Studio 6B in Rockefeller Center go out? When the audience's applause Jimmy Fallon slowly disappeared and the studio door closed tightly? For the world, that night was a huge success on the television screen. But for Taehyung and Jungkook, the night in Manhattan has just begun. New York is a city that never sleeps, but that night, this city seemed to provide a very rare private space for the two of them. We see them laughing, joking, and performing so brightly under Fallon's stage lights. However, there is one different energy when they stand side by side. Not just a coworker, but there is a sense of security that radiates. Many wonder, after such a busy and tiring schedule, will they just go back to their respective hotel rooms and drown in their cell phones? Or was there an appointment that had been made long before they landed at JFK Airport? A promise for a short escape in the middle of the hustle and bustle of the city. The rumor about Honeymoon Manhattan did not just appear. Observant fans began to connect small dots. Why is there a long silence on social media after the event ends? Why did the atmosphere around their hotel feel so different that night? There are some kind of visual codes in small posts, a glass of drink on the edge of a window overlooking a skyscraper, or a shadow in the glass that seems to capture a familiar figure. New York for many people is a tourist destination, but for them, this could be the only place where they can become ordinary people among millions of strangers. If we dissect their body language during a podcast or interview, there are gazes that go beyond the script. The way Jungkook glances at Taehyung when he speaks, or how Taehyung always seeks approval in Jungkook's eyes. It's the kind of connection that has been built for years. So, when the narrative appeared that they spent time together down the streets of New York after midnight, many felt that it was not just a theory, but an emotional need. After giving everything for the world on stage, they need time to give that time to themselves. Imagine them walking on the High Line when it's quiet, or just sitting in a hidden jazz bar in Greenwich Village. Places where their identity as global stars is covered by thick coats and hats, but their togetherness still feels warm. New York in these months has sharp and cold air. The air that forces someone to walk closer, to share warmth. That is the point of what fans call honeymoon, not about luxury, but about the presence of each other without interruption. Why don't they share it openly? The answer is simple, because the most beautiful moment is often the one that is not recorded by the camera. Their silence after the Fallon event is actually the strongest proof that there is something they are enjoying personally. A healing after great promotional pressure. In Manhattan, they are no longer the center of the world's attention, but two people who are enjoying hot coffee under the dim street lights, talking about things that we will never hear in any podcast. A chapter full of closeness, comfort, and a stronger sense of belonging. Under the Manhattan sky, on the sidelines of high-rise buildings, Taehyung and Jungkook have written their own honeymoon story, a story that does not need confirmation, because the vibration has reached all of our hearts.